Pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered. And my interpretation of that is simply quit trying to do so much by yourself. It's okay to reach out for help. It's okay to ask someone else for their opinion. It's okay to say, hey, I'm kind of stuck. I'm in over my head. What you got for me? Welcome to yet another episode of Reno's Rants here, of course, on the Roughnecks podcast. Get on roughneckspodcast.com. Crazy news came out. We got the Roughnecks volleyball tournament taking place July 15th. Go get you a squad. Go sign up. There's going to be, everyone's getting a t-shirt. There's going to be prizes. There's going to be all kinds of cool stuff there. It is going to be a good time. But be warned, because I dare you to come up against me, my squad, because I'm aiming for heads. I'm aiming for jugulars. I'm going for blood. So hope that you're not against me, but bring it on. Bring your best, and let's see who's got it. Let's see who really does this volleyball thing. But today's rants, I want to talk about. I saw this quote. I thought it was really, really good, and it kind of triggered me that I am a huge, or I suffer from this extremely bad. And the quote was, pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered. And my interpretation of that is simply quit trying to do so much by yourself. It's okay to reach out for help. It's okay to ask someone else for their opinion. It's okay to say, hey, I'm kind of stuck. I'm in over my head. What you got for me? Type thing. And like I said, I'm so bad at this. Even when I ask for help, like I feel myself looking at the other person, like, are they doing it the way that, I would do it? Or like I'm judging them on how they're doing it versus how I would do it. I'm so bad at that. I really am. But the more and more that I've realized this, the more and more that I've grown, the more I realize that this is important. It's important to have a team with you. It's important to bring others along with you and help you through your journey, because number one, they've likely done it before, or they've experienced it before, so their input's going to be really important. It might save you however many steps. Instead of you trying to go in and figure it out yourself, if someone's already done it, why wouldn't you ask them to get their opinion? That's like an ego thing. Don't let your ego step in the way. Ask for the help. Let them explain sort of their process, their thought process behind all of it, because it's going to do nothing but good things for you. And I'm sure that they're going to bring a lot of other things to light that you probably didn't think about. So make sure that you are building a squad. You're asking the right questions. You're staying curious, but you're also asking the right people too. I think that's just as important as the people that you surround yourself with as you are slowly, whether that you're starting a business, you're trying to go through, trying to get a promotion, whatever it may be. Slowly start recognizing, who's real, who's not, who's truly going to help you out, or who's just kind of there faking it. Right? They're just kind of giving you kind of BS answers, like a little bit of help, not really. That's someone you don't want on your team. And also know your surroundings, that I'm not going to ask someone who's always been complacent at what they do. I'm going to ask someone who I see has drive. They may even be younger than me. They may be even be less inexperienced than me, but I can see that their creative juice is kicking. I can see that they work hard. I can see all those types of things. That's someone I want on my team, because I can help them grow. They're going to bring things to light that I didn't think about. And it's always good to get an outsider's perspective. Sometimes asking the question is not somebody who's necessarily even interested in what you're talking about. That's always a good person to bring on too, because from the outside, if they come and look at your idea, I just think it's a really good thing to have, because they're not going to be biased, I guess is what I'm trying to say. They're not going to have a biased opinion, one way or the other just because they're passionate about it. And so they're going to try to come up with an answer because they like doing it. No, they're going to give you a real answer about it, right? So anyway, asking for the help, I think, is extremely important. Pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered. Remember that, all right? But yeah, man, it's especially growing up in the corporate world now. I've been in the corporate world for 6 years, and knowing who I can trust and knowing who is kind of complacent is a major factor. And you have to show that yourself too, because people ahead of me know if I'm being complacent too. It's not a hard puzzle to solve. You know, when we do interviews or anything, we already know if this person's got it or if they don't. You really think a 45 minute to an hour interview is going to change what they've done the past couple years? I don't know. Some people are just really good at interviews. And then on the flip side, some people are terrible at interviews, but you know that they put in the work. You know, there's just a big difference. You can get that feel from somebody if they're going to actually contribute to your team, if they're actually going to contribute to what they're doing, instead of someone who's complacent and they don't want to come out of that little bubble that they're in. And I'd say this is one thing that drives me absolutely insane. Is someone who is complacent, and honestly, I can't relate to people like that. They call it the Larry Bird syndrome, and if you guys don't know who Larry Bird is, shame on you. But if you don't, NBA legend, NBA Hall of Famer, debatable. It's debated that he's a top 10 player ever in the NBA. So he obviously was a superstar, and then he went on to coaching. Once he retired, he went on to coaching, and he had a really hard time coaching. And they say that's because he lived such a standard that he couldn't relate to the guys who weren't giving maximum effort, who weren't, living up to the standard that he held. And he couldn't relate to them. Therefore, he wasn't a good coach. And I think I kind of have that too. I coached younger guys a lot now. They're young, right? They're still growing, so it's a little bit of a difference. But being in the real world with a job, boy, it shines through, and it's tough to deal with complacent people. Now, I'm not saying that you want to stay in the same position. Like, that's okay to stay in the same position. I'm not telling you have to keep getting promotions and whatnot. But just as long as you are in that position and you are continuing to better yourself at that, you're continuing to perfect your craft, you're going to be just fine. And that's someone I want on my team. It's okay for them to want to stay there for whatever, 10 plus years, just as long as they're continuing to improve. Tenure or experience or whatever, honestly, it doesn't mean anything unless you're putting in the work, and unless you're giving the effort, unless you're trying to make a change, right? So that's sort of building your team. Don't try to take everything on yourself. Okay, there are tons of resources out there. There's tons of people out there with a lot of knowledge, and they want to help. Because if someone's so passionate about something, they want to bring others along and they want to share what they've learned. That's why people, write books. That's why people do podcasts. They want to share their knowledge. They want to share what they've experienced because they know, it might help a couple people out. And if it helps one person out, man, I tell you what, that's a win. That's a win. So keep it in mind. Don't try to overload yourself. You're going to do nothing but stress yourself out. Okay, and I guarantee you'll probably be wasting a lot of time trying to figure something out when someone's got the answer right in front of them. But that's all I got for this rant. Again, I dare you to join up for that volleyball tournament. I dare you to sign up for it. But please do. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you want more up-to-date information, sign up for the newsletter on roughneckspodcast.com. Cole's always keeping things spicy, man. He's got some awesome guests previously coming up. Check it out. Make sure to follow, subscribe, like, share out all the episodes that you want. Let us know how we're doing. Send over questions for Q&A Fridays for Cole and guests. They're going to be answering any questions you want. I know I shot him a couple pretty good ones. I'll be interested to see what he says about those. So stay tuned. Again, thank you all so much. I'll catch you next time.
What you believe you can achieve and accomplish comes from your mindset. You can absolutely build something from nothing, and don't put a ceiling on things that you can't achieve.
You are now tuning in to the Roughnecks Podcast with your host, Cole Nixon. Much love.